massive earthquake just hours ago in Mexico, and here is the moment it struck in Mexico City. Frightened workers riding out the quake as the building is rocking. One person said, "We didn't know whether to run or fall on the floor." And out on the streets, mothers comforted their children until the quake passed, which seemed forever, as a highway bridge was no match for the quake. A car was pulverized. The epicenter of the quake was 115 miles outside the beach resort of Acapulco, and thousands of American travelers are in the quake zone there. One of them, the president's oldest daughter, Malia, and the White House weighed in on that today, as ABC's David Wright tells us about the moment of impact.
The powerful 7.4 quake struck at noon local time, a violent shaking motion people felt all the way to Mexico City. ABC's Jose Cohen is there.
As you can see, like in this building, people do not want to go back into their working place because there's been several replicas and people are afraid.
Several bridges collapsed there. One truck was crushed, but so far there have been no reports of death.
Estamos sintiendo horrible.
Many people captured the frightening scene on their camera phones, quickly posting the images to YouTube. The epicenter of the quake was in Guerrero State, midway between Oaxaca and Acapulco, two of the most popular spring break destinations for young Americans. President Obama's daughter, Malia, is in Oaxaca on a school trip. Late today, the White House released a statement saying she's safe. Oaxaca's governor says 500 homes have collapsed in his state. Seismologists say the quake struck at a shallow depth, which tends to make the shaking even more intense. In the capital, miles away from the epicenter, lawmakers evacuated the Chamber of Deputies, Mexico's parliament. And panicked office workers rushed into the streets, too scared to stay inside. I was on the 27th floor, said one woman. I felt a sudden drop, and then everything started to tremble. Mexico straddles one of the most active thrust fault lines in the Western Hemisphere. The big one, in 1985, killed more than 100,000 people.
And David, what about all those fault lines running under California? Any additional seismic activity today?
Well, Mexico's fault lines are linked to California, so it is natural to worry. But have a look at the U.S. Geological Survey maps. In the past hour, we've had one small quake, maybe two by now. Over the past 24 hours, a dozen or so, too small, most of them for anyone to feel. Over the past week, more than 300 small earthquakes. This is earthquake country after all, but the seismologist we spoke with today said this one in Mexico was too far away to have an impact here in California. Let's hope they're right.